Hello everyone, welcome to this demonstrations of my project on steering behaviors, finite state machines, and advanced AI extensions. I will be showcasing the implementations of several key tasks performing the interactions and providing brief explanations of the core code that power each features. Let's begin with part 1, steering behaviors. It includes arrive, void fogging, flee, and obstacle avoidance. So in terms of arrive behaviors, I will click targets at different distance. So you will see that the flock smoothly decelerates as it approaches its target and stops presently without any overshoot the target. And if I click a near point, the flock will stop quickly. So to do that, the arrive function scales the design speed within the slow radius and inside the stop radius. It returns steering force, effectively zeroing out the frog's velocity in a single frame. So you can see the frog move at the full speed when far from the target and decelerate smoothly when it entering the slow zone and stop presently when it inside the stop zone. In terms of spoil flocking behavior, in this tab you will see the flies maintain a cohesive group, respond to nearby neighbors, and regroup when disturbed. So I will move the flock slowly into the fly groups and move it away to disturb them. So as you can see, the fly responds to the neighbor by switching from yellow to purple, and the fly maintain the formations by avoiding collisions with each other, allowing their velocity and steering toward the average positions of the neighbors. The next thing is fleeing or evade behavior, so I will press play to shoot a bubble near the flies. So as you can see that them change color to purple and scatter, evading the threat. So after a moment, they will regroup. As the bubble moves toward them, the fly is starting to flee by predicting the flock positions ahead of time, allow them to escape more smoothly. To do this, the evade functions predict the threat's further point by using its velocity cause flee from that predicted point, producing earlier, smoother escapes, so that the flies scatter immediately when they sense the threat and return to the group once the scare time expires. The final behavior is obstacle avoidance. You will watch the snake chase the flock and navigate around this rectangle's environment. So I will move the flock inside the obstacles. And you can see that the chasing snake would navigate around the obstacles. To do that, the snake use stick with avoid functions, circle cuts forward, and if blocks, samples rotates directions until satisfy and unblock corridors to steer through. So as you can see that the snake avoid obstacle by selecting a clear path and dynamically adjusts move to continue chasing the flock. So that is the end of part 1. Move on to part 2, finite state machine for the flies and snakes. In the fly FSM, I will show the transitions between flock, fleeing, and idle states beyond their distance from the flock. So first of all, I will approach the flies to trigger flock state. As you can see, the flies turn into fleeing when the flock approach. So I will move the flock far away and wait for more than 2 seconds. You will see that from flock state, once the timer expires and the flock at the safe distance, they will enter the idle and when they have been far for a certain period. Then if I approach again, it will from the idle state to the flock state. To do that, the FSM set the scale timer when entering fleeing and use other timer when far from the flock. This timer ensures certain conditions before transitioning states. So the fly transitions smoothly between the flock fleeing and adjusted with the timers ensuring no flickering. In Snake FSM, I will demonstrate how the snake switches between patrols, aggro, and confused state based on proximity to the frog and interactions with bubbles. So first of all, let the snake patrols by moving the frog inside aggro range to trigger the aggro, and you will observe the chase. And now I will hit the snake with the bubbles, you will see that the snake used proximity to switch between patrols and aggro, and after being hit by bubble, it transitions to harmless, then confused. When it randomly wanders for a few seconds before returning to its patrols. To do that, the range checks use aggro range and diagonal range to switch between aggro and patrols. On pacifications, the snake becomes harmless and later transitions to confuse with the timers. So the snake patrols switches to aggro when close and then transitions to harmless and confused after being hit by bubbles. So that is the end of part 2. Move on to part 3, advanced AI extensions. It includes pursue, evade, confuse, wandering, adult wandering, and the frog herd states. In terms of pursuit behavior, snake predict the frog further positions and intercept it rather than just following. So now I will move the frog quickly across the screen. So as you can see that the snake cutting it off because the pursuit functions here estimate the time horizon based on distance and speed, predict the frog's further positions, and steer towards the point. So the snake intercepts the frog's path by predicting where it be, cutting off the frog instead of trailing it. The next head is evade behavior for the flies. So the flies now predict the frog's further positions and start evading it earlier. So now I will move the frog quickly toward the flies. I shoot a fast bubbles. As you can see, the flies react earlier. So the evade functions predict the frog's further positions and call flee from the point, allowing earlier and smoother aversive actions. So the flies start evading earlier and move more smoothly to avoid the frog. In terms of confused state for snake, after being pacified by a bubble, the snake wanders randomly for a short time before resuming its patrols. So I pacify an aggro snake and watch it transitions to harmless by hitting bubbles. So as you can see, it become confused and wander briefly before resuming its patrols. So when harmless, snake reach home when they set a confused timer and use wander force to wander while the timer count down. The snake wandered randomly for a brief period after being pacified, adding some unpredictability to its behavior. The next state of the flies is adults. So the flies gently wander when they are far from the frog. So now I will move the frog far away and wait for more than the adult delay and show the flies idling with soft, drifting movement. As you can see, that the fly stop frogging and gently drift when adult, providing a calm downtime between frog interaction. So to do that, adult use wander force to create a small random steering target ahead, producing a gentle drifting after effect. The final state is her state of frog. So when an aggro snake collides with a frog, it reduces health and grant temporary invulnerability. So now I will let the aggro snake collide with the frog. So as you can see that the frog health is decreased and it's flash briefly when invulnerability after being hit. It's prevent further damage for a short time. Finally, I will show you both end condition. The first one is collecting flies to win, and the second one is losing all health to die. So you must collect 10 flies until the win condition is met. At this time, I will let the health drop to 0, and it will show you the you die screen. And if you press R again, it will restart it. So the win and lose screen appear when pressing R, it restarts the screen. So this is the end of the demonstrations. Thank you for watching.